So hello everyone. So today we have with us a very special guest and one of my favorite YouTubers, and that is none other than Mr. Harish Uttam Kumar. Like I don't know your last name. Can you pronounce your last name
Uthai
for me?
Kumar. Uthai Kumar.
Uthai Kumar.
Yeah.
Uthai Kumar. Awesome. So like you're literally one of my favorite YouTubers, and I kind of started YouTube because of you only. Like I got very influenced by you and what you do, and that's why I started. And I have been wanting to get you as a guest on my YouTube channel for a long time, but I was very like hesitant because like I'm a small YouTuber with only 4K, 5K, and you're reaching 100K in a few days, right? So I was very hesitant, but you replied, and now we are doing this, so I'm extremely excited. So why don't you give a little introduction of yourself, like who you are, what you do, where you're from, like that.
Yeah. First of all, I say yes to everyone. So even if it's someone with one subscriber, I say yes, it's fine. Uh,
Oh.
and because I've been there, right? Like I was at 200 subscribers last year in Jan 2020.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter. Subscriber count doesn't matter. Um, and my introduction, so I live in this city called Nasik in Maharashtra. I've been living here for last 15 years. Um, and I go to Betskova. It's Goa. You're not supposed to go to college there, but that's where I study. And every time I tell this to relatives, they're like, "Oh damn, I don't know what he does in college." Um, I'm doing electronics and communications engineering there. I absolutely hate it. It's like I just want to get my degree and
Same.
get done with it.
Same.
Yeah. Apart from that, I make videos sometimes as a hobby and help build a cool community of students who are interested in exploring stuff. So that's pretty much what I do.
Okay, awesome. So now, like everybody talks about your YouTube journey, your freelancing journey, but right now I want to focus more about your startups and about Hulock and Clinify. So you founded two startups being in your college and you're just in your third year, right? And so my first question to you would be, what led you to starting up in college? And were you this entrepreneurial from your school days, or did this happen in college?
So I wouldn't say I was entrepreneurial in school days. Like I mean, I was just looking at different ways through which I can amplify my resume and get a good job. Um, but I think I was very involved in making projects, right? So this could be a hardware project like a chicken egg incubator that I made in seventh grade and hatched, chicken eggs in my summers. It could be
Mm-hmm.
something like those projects or something software based, like maybe building an app that helps contact the nearest ambulances, something like that, right? So I was always involved in building things. I wanted to build products that actually have some sort of impact, though I was never successful in building good products that had an impact, but I always had that knack for building. So it doesn't matter if I'm doing a job or if I'm doing my own thing. I always wanted to build something, right? So even if you see my childhood photos when I was like 4 years, I always had a screwdriver in my hand. So it was always about this thing of building stuff. That's what excites me. I think in college, like after I went to bits, it just opened up so many opportunities, right? Like the moment I went in, I started
Right.
freelancing, had a bunch of folks join in, and then we used to build websites, we used to do graphic design, we used to run ads, and it was just crazy. So that's something that really excited me, and I think that's what got me started. So eventually, like initially we did graphic design, then we built websites and we ran ads, and then we started into ventured into chatbots because we were seeing the shift where small companies cannot have a human sit in front of a computer and chat with the client every single day, right? 24/7. uh,
Right.
that's very inefficient. So we wanted to ease the process. So agar koi if you're having like the person asks the same question again and again, then we can just use a simple bot flow and answer those particular questions. So we wanted to make the job of customer support easier, and that's what we did with
Hmm.
Hulock. And we worked with hotels, e-commerce sites, fertility clinics, and eventually, we didn't want to become a services company where we just like the client says something and we start building it out. That's very unscalable. We want to build a product which we can sell again and again, so people just come and
Yeah.
do something in the product. And that's when we started this platform for Hulock, right, wherein anyone can come. It's a no code platform. They can drag and drop and build their own chatbot, own WhatsApp chatbot. That's the ultimate platform that we built out, spent like thousands of lines of code, and almost 3 months in doing that. Went to a bunch of investors. We had around 20 businesses using it at that point, using the
Wow.
platform to run their bots. But we there was a huge bummer over there because we weren't able to scale at all beyond the 20 clients, 20 people using the product. And WhatsApp was giving a lot of regulation issues. And even
Mm,
investors were like, what if it scales to 1 million users? Onboarding time was 2 weeks. So it used to take 2 weeks
mm,
for a customer to ultimately get the bot up and running. So,
yeah.
some investors were like when we were pitching, they were like, what if it scales to 1 million users? You can't have 2 weeks of onboarding time. You'll
Mm,
be dead by the
right.
time you onboard your thousandth customer. So at that point, we had to take a decision. We made the product free, gave like people who are using it are still using it, but we just discontinued it because at that point we had also started building Clinify out, and we thought that the
Mm,
impact, because through Clinify people were getting jobs, people were getting internships. There were so many people like who were completely hopeless about what to do in life, from
mm,
remote tier 3 colleges, but because we were able to give them some sort of exposure, they were able to get out of it. So we thought the impact through Clinify could be much larger. I think at that point we were already at 15,000 people. So we thought, let's
mm.
keep this on hold. This is not happening. Let's put all our efforts into Clinify and see what comes out of it. So that's been the shift from Pilok to Clinify.
Okay, got it. Now let's talk a bit about your like the entrepreneurial college culture at BITS, because I think that played a huge factor into shaping you as an entrepreneur and also produced so many great startups from BITS, including existing students like Ishan and MarketUp, Mehul and Codedam, and as well as startups funded by alumni of your college as well. So how is the college culture of BITS in that aspect?
Yeah, so I would not call myself an entrepreneur yet. I'm very naive, still long way to go, still learning. But I think the alumni plays an important role. Swiggy, Big Basket, all of these guys came from Bits, and then you have people like Pepper Content, which was started by Anirudh Singla.
Anirudh
I
Singh.
just had a call with Rishabh from Pepper. He's the co-founder, and these guys, they hustled a lot in the second and third year of college, and then in their fourth year, first semester, raised a seed for 2.2 crores, and then eventually 8 months later, they raised their Series A for around 39 crores. So they
Wow.
scaled it up really fast, and now they're serving like 650 enterprises in the content creation space. So
Mm,
we have people whom we can look up to, like people who attended the same class as we did, had
mm,
the same environment that we did, and I think that really motivates a lot of people to venture in. Like Akhil Singh, he's from Bitscoa, right? And a couple of years back, he was the same classroom that I sat in, and then right after college, even he tried out a bunch of things, experimented, failed terribly, but now recently his new startup Quest raised like 10 crores in seed recently, and the scaling of the product really well. So when you have such people who are really close to you, people who are like literally your WhatsApp contacts, do well in
mm.
life. I think that's a huge motivation because you're someone who's noticing the journey from 0 to 1, right? Uh,
0 to 1,
so
right?
it gives you like a template that you can follow, and plus the amount of support that these guys provide is just massive. Like if I wasn't at Bits, if I was at some random college in tier 3, then I don't think where I would have been. I don't think I would have got this level of exposure. So I think
Like
that environment plays a very critical role.
I think I absolutely agree to this. Like the most important thing that we get out of tier 1 colleges is that the alumni network and the peer group that we hang around with, because these are essentially the smartest people in India, right? And these people, in some way or the other, they influence you to do great things in life. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
like one other thing that I want to say is that is there any incubator or association that you took help of while creating Hulock and Clinify? And are there any incubators in Bits Pilani which you took help of as well? And also, how did this incubators help you in
So
building?
at Bits, there were a lot of these B plan competitions where you just go and pitch. Like Shreyans and I have gone for so many pitching competitions that we just have the pitch in mind. So even if you just wake me up in the night and be like pitch bowl, I'll say the pitch. So we're very used to it. I think in total we might have been to more than 10 pitching competitions from different colleges. It's not just Bits. We go to other colleges as well. Wherever there's a prize money, we go there.
Mm.
And that was a huge motivator as well because we won the very first pitch competition we went to, and that's when we realized that we are very good at selling. Like the pitch competition we went to, even before Hulock was formed, we pitched chatbots. We did not have a product at all. We just pitched chatbots at the competition, and there were
Mm.
far better startups versus us. But just because we were more confident in the way we pitched and the way we answered, we ultimately won it. And that's when we noticed that hey, we are good at selling. We can sell a vision, and that's what ultimately works, right? You have to sell the story more than the
Yeah.
product. So like Nike is not a shoe, it brings out the
It's a product.
athlete in you, right? So
Yeah.
I think that was a good skill to have. And then yeah, there were a lot of these competitions, but then the major accelerator that Hulock went to was the Nexus ACIR, which is run by the US Embassy in collaboration with the Indian government. I think we were super
Hmm.
lucky to get into it. It's in Delhi. This time it was remote, but I mean, somehow we got in, and that was just insane. Everything right from finding your product market fit to what's preferred shares, how do you form a cap table in the investment. Everything was covered. It was like a crash course
Oh.
on startups. So I think that was a huge thing. Plus, in my second year of college, there's this course in it's called NVC, New Venture Creation. It's like a 3 credit course,
Hmm.
and I think
Hmm.
that also played an important role. Every lecture was taken by a guest lecturer who has been there and done it. So I
Hmm.
think yeah, there were some educational aspects to it as well.
Yeah, I think I've heard you speak on this in one of your previous videos, this class that you took
Hmm.
on this. Wow. So, like you mentioned, these incubators and associations. Now, what are some of the free resources that are available online that people can, or especially students can read or watch on how to build and run startups? Like, I know one that is the YC thing, the YC online YouTube playlist. And also, what are some of the resources that you personally use? Like, it can be vlogs, videos, anything.
Three resources. I think you should be very active on Twitter. Follow people like Sohail, Sahil, Gaurav Munjal, Bhavin Turakhia, uh, Vijay Shekhar Sharma. Follow these guys. Great content out there. And then secondly, use TechCrunch every morning when you're in the like when I wake up in the morning, and when I'm in the toilet, I just scroll through TechCrunch. That's like the morning routine. And then be on Product Hunt and try out as many products as possible. Like a couple of days back, I was listening to Gaurav Munjal from an academy, and he was saying every day you should try out like at least 10 new apps, right? And the amount of perspective you get about product building is just insane. Like if you just go through a good product, if you go through 10 products, you'll get inspiration to build something of your own as well. And even Gaurav, he was saying the idea of an academy came from Peloton. Peloton is a US company which streams working out exercises. So you can
Mhm.
turn on your TV, you can use your working out equipments. Someone else is working out and they're live streaming. The trainer is live streaming stuff, and you can
Understand.
follow their
Got it.
moves. That's
Got it.
the inspiration for an academy, right? So that's so random. That's some company in the US doing working out
Exactly.
exercises. So that's the unfair advantage as well. Like if you just stick to typical norms, typical companies, then you won't learn much. But if you study the Chinese market, if you study the Israeli market or the US
Mhm.
market, then you'll learn a lot. So Product Hunt is a good way of finding out new products that are being launched, and attend conferences. Conferences are paid, but you can just go for it. Like right now, Makers Space conference is happening. Sorry, the Makers Summit conference is happening by Inc. 42. Your Story has Tech Sparks. So attend these conferences.
Mhm.
This is where the top of the top people come in. Like Vijay Shekhar Sharma is speaking today from PTM. A couple of days back, we had Gaurav Munjal and Bhavik Turakia. So these guys don't come for normal events. They'll only come for these high tech conferences.
High events. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be a great chance to watch and learn from them. I even stream it on Clinify's Discord, so if anyone's interested, you can just come in and watch.
Wow, nice. So yeah, people join Clinify. I'll post the link in the description. So now this is something that I've recently seen as well as experienced firsthand, and especially in India, I don't know about foreign countries, and that is the romanticization of starting up. Like people, even kids think कि startup करेंगे, पैसा कमाएंगे, easy money, सबको startup करना है अभी. Like, what do you think about this notion that has been created in India right now? And do you support this notion that has been created about starting up?
So here's the thing, right? I think the notion got popularized when your story started popularizing fundraising as a glorified event, right? It's like
Hmm.
you got victory when you fundraised. So Anirudh
Hmm.
Singla from Pepper, I was talking to him about raising seed round and stuff like that, and he said, "Dude, like whenever you raise, it's a liability. It's not your money.
Hmm.
It's someone else's
Exactly.
money. And every time an investor is putting in money, they're expecting huge returns. Gagan Biani from Udemy, he says that every time every time an investor invests, he expects a 100x valuation in the next 10
Hmm.
years. So if you're not able to deliver that, then it might not work out. So if you're raising your seed round, then remember there are only two parts after that. You can't be like, "Acha, मैं अभी profitable धंधा करने वाला हूँ." That's not going to work, because there are only two parts. One is you either grow and raise your next round. So they'll be expecting you to grow your numbers so that you can raise your next Series A, Series B
Hmm.
round, and maybe
Hmm.
ultimately go for an IPO, or B, exit. So either through an IPO
Hmm.
or through an acquisition. So these are
Acquisition.
usually the two routes. The third route is कि क्या होता है कि sometimes startups raise money and they realize that they can't grow further, right? So there
Hmm.
could be a saturation point. So what do you do at a
Hmm.
saturation point? Now, because you're at a saturation point, you can't raise your next round, and neither are you so big कि IPO जाओगे, right? And neither is any acquisition offer coming in. You don't want to sell your company. So what do you do in such
Hmm.
cases? In such cases, Slide Bean, there was a company
Yeah, yeah.
that did
YouTube.
something
They have a
similar.
YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, so these guys, what they did was they were like, dude, we're not able to scale, but we're profitable. We have money in the bank. So they took
Hmm.
a bunch of the money, gave that back to investors, and they were like, you can go now. Now we'll just run this as a typical business, right? So even that's a good option. In fact, it's always better if you're getting an opportunity to run a startup profitably without even raising external capital. That's like one of the best ways to go about it.
Okay, awesome. And can you give us kind of a reality check in the life of a like student entrepreneur? Like, what does the life look like? Like managing college as well as starting like two companies. Like right now, I think you're managing only Clinify, but what does that look like? Like, what is the life of a student entrepreneur look like?
So at this point, like we aren't putting in too many efforts into Clinify because we have to manage college as well. So I
Hmm.
wouldn't say it's like I'm not someone. I'm not that very hustling person. But yeah,
Hmm.
like at least 4 5 hours a day go into Clinify, building content, interacting with the community, organizing events, and forming the vision, things like that, planning what to do next, building the marketplace for ourselves. So yeah, it's mostly like after 6 p.m. the work starts. That's when college gets over,
Hmm. Yeah.
and you start talking to people. So yeah, I would say it's very hard, like because we aren't doing it full time at this point. So if it was vacations and if we have ample time, then we'll go all in. So at that time things might be different, but for now it's like attend college in the morning, after 6 p.m. work on Wi-Fi.